What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video right here on the Crypto Grind channel. This is another Patreon pick. This week, my Patreons have decided on Labs Group, so we're going to be taking a look at the project, all the good, all the bad, and everything that comes with it. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you're watching all the way to the end of the video, and of course, hitting that like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, smash that subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when another video goes live. Jumping straight in, Labs Group is all around the tokenization of real world assets and more specifically around property itself. So it falls in quite a nice niche and a niche that I do think is going to do fairly well in the upcoming bull run. Now, taking a look at the actual tokenomics of itself, I don't really like too many zeros before any project. When I see too many zeros before a number, generally I steer clear, but I think with Labs Group, it's okay. Having a look at the tokenomics itself, you can see that they're sitting at a market cap right now, 1.3 million, which is not too bad. I think it's fairly low, and you will see multiple X's on your investment for this project. But the one sort of area that does sort of worry me slightly is the circulating supply is very low compared to your total supply. So there is always that chance that a rug pull could happen. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen with this project, but the overall dilution could reduce the amount of profits that people would see, and maybe even an oversupply of the tokens. I haven't been able to find too much in terms of tokenomics about releases of these tokens. So if anybody does know more, put it in the chat. Let us know what the release schedules are, and I'm sure that will sort of make everybody feel a little bit better. But even then, fully diluted market cap is still only around about 6 million. So it is fairly low. That's to its all-time high market cap is 72 million. So it's about a 10x, from here, a little bit more than a 10x. But I think it can do a lot more in this next bull run. I think we could see this hitting from this price here. We can see this hitting 100 million as a minimum. So that's, 100x if we go to 130 million, which is really nice to see. All in all, it's a decent project. There are some concerns for me around tokenomics that we've just spoken about and the audits itself. The last audit they did was 2 years ago, so it needs to be redone so we can sort of have confirmation and comfort that the project is still on the right track. Jumping over to their website, what is Labs? Making real estate accessible to everybody. Labs actually stands for Liquid Asset Brokerage System, disrupting multiple industries at once. Powered by the Labs ecosystem, the token through decentralized finance and governance, they're disrupting the real estate industry investments on the largest asset class. Now, the real estate industry is massive. It's worth trillions of dollars all over the world. And I think Labs just taking a small portion of that is definitely a way that you can see a growth in your real terms in terms of your investments. And it's a way for you to invest in property where a lot of people out there cannot afford to invest in property. But projects like this give you part ownership. And of course, as the property becomes more valuable, your investment also gives you better returns and just makes your portfolio look that much better. They have a mission and vision is to make real assets accessible to everybody using Web3 and to make transactions through digital assets, bridging the industry with blockchain technology and partnering with property developers and operators globally. There is a bit more around that. So they also do speak a little bit here where they say for property owners, so if you want to develop, if you want to improve, whatever the case is, you can actually go and raise capital through Labs. You have your investors, you raise the capital, you do whatever. And then, of course, all your investors are part owners of the building. For investors, obviously, it's an opportunity for you to invest in property without having to have millions of dollars to invest in large sort of buildings that you would need to worry about upkeep and so on like that. So it gives you really good opportunities without some of the hassles that come behind it, and of course not necessarily having to have a very large bank account to buy these sort of buildings. And the instant transactions, which are quite nice, they're over the blockchain, which is pretty cool as well. Now, they are listed in a few places, and we will talk about this a little bit more as well, because I do have some concerns around the Bitmart listing. And just staying on the actual products themselves, they have what they call Stay Next. Now, Stay Next is pretty interesting. They're making use of NFTs, And basically, through these NFTs, you part own a holiday resort or part of a holiday resort. And essentially, the amount of money you put in gives you a certain amount of days per year. So if you start off on this tier here with SP3, you essentially own 3 days per calendar year at that resort where you can either make use of it, you can stay there, or if not, and you decide not to, those then get passed on to other regular paying customers through traditional means, and you see a profit of those 3 nights stay when that gets sold off. You actually see a portion of that, and that goes to you personally. So you still get some benefit from it, even if you're not able to vacation at these places at these times, which is really, really cool. I like the whole thing that they're making it sort of nice and easy for people to invest and making them easy profits, basically. So there's just some benefits here, replenished every year. Ultimate travel flexibility, because you're not set to a certain time per year. They just say that you have 3 calendar days per year that you need to make use of it, all the way up to 30, obviously, depending on which one you take. The NFT is valid for 30 years, which is quite nice. So SP is determined by regulations where the property is based. If the property is freehold, NFT is valid forever. If the property has a 30-year lease, then your NFT is valid for 30 years. So they have validity around it as well. And I'm sure more regulations will come into play with this as well. Yield generation, that's all around, whether the property increases in value, you get more value around that as well. The store of value is what I've been saying. So the residence pass represents your stake in the property. If you own a 30-day pass out of 365 days, your NFT is worth 8.2% of the property, of that said property, and raises with capital appreciation. StayNext is the only NFT currently available that is backed by hard assets, and Gravity is proud to say that this is the only NFT that will never go down to zero. Now, never is a strong word. You can never say that it's going to go down to zero, but there's a strong backing behind it, which is really nice. It's not just something floating in the air. There is a real world asset backing these NFTs. Now, I just want to move on to the team a little bit, and this is where some of my concerns do arise. It's not all sunshines and roses when it comes to this team. So the CEO himself, I think I have full faith in. He's got successful businesses in property, so he understands the property market itself. But these two individuals here, I hope I'm going to say their names correctly, Yong and Eileen, they actually are both very, very senior members of the Bitmart team. Now, if you remember, I showed you these listings here, and to put them on Bitmart. Now, Bitmart is probably not the most trusted exchange out there. There have been some pretty bad reviews of it lately. So if they are, running a business that is not always trusted, then it might affect the trustworthiness of this labs group as well. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to, it's just something that you need to be aware of before you invest into a project like this. But otherwise, I think the tokenomics are good. The project has utility, and the team does seem fairly strong. Everybody else, they doxed. You can go and visit their LinkedIn pages so you can see exactly what they're doing and why they are involved in this project and what gives them cause to be involved in the project. So all around the team, overall, I'm pretty happy. It's just those two very senior members of the team that possibly have some backgrounds that would need more clarification. They did recently run an AMA through their Twitter, so I'm sure a lot of those questions were answered. Go ahead, check their Twitter out, watch the video, and you can actually see if there was more clarity given on that. Now, before we have a look at the socials, I just wanted to point everybody to my Patreon. As we are heading up into the next bull run, I think it is vital that you have a community behind you, whether you're experienced in crypto or not, that can guide you through the bull run to make sure that we all stay level-headed to maximize our profits. And that's why I highly recommend checking out my Patreon. And of course, if you decide to take up the tier where you have the VIP Telegram, there are a lot of individuals out there who can definitely help you and guide you through it. Whether you are new or experienced, we can always learn something. Other than that, we have the sell alerts, the buy alerts that I give out, my content that goes out a little bit earlier to you, all the way up to one-on-one consultations if that's something that interests you. So go ahead, check out my Patreon. I really do think that there is a tier for everybody. And of course, I think my track record is starting to speak for itself. I am calling some pretty good projects, making decent returns for my Patreons who are there already. So if that's not something that interests you, of course, that's fine. I do have a free Telegram. We would love to have you as part of the Crypto Grind community there. The link is in the description. Finally, just wanted to go onto their socials, have a look at their Twitter page. They currently have 58, nearly 59,000 followers, so a fairly big community. They are pretty active. I would like to see them advertising a bit more and sort of, speaking about themselves a bit more than what they are already. Here was the AMA that I was talking about. The link is in their Twitter page, and it happened on July the 19th, so only a few days ago. Go ahead, check it out. If you are looking into this project and doing some of your own research and making sure that you're comfortable investing your money. That's everything that I'm going to be talking about. Let us know in the comments below if you are bullish on labs, how you feel about it. Personally, I would be rating this project about an 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. I think it's got a lot going for it. It's really just some of those team members that I'm a little bit concerned about, and the tokenomics where we don't fully know what the release schedule is. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.